Well, time to see what kind of trouble we can get into today. I'm going to try and take off this exhaust tower or cooling tower or whatever you want to call it. And I can clearly see 1, 2, 3, that bolt's hidden in there, which means this cover is going to have to come off. So 3 bolts on this side, there's 3 on the other side like that. There's 2 up here, which hopefully when we get this cover off we'll have access to those. And then hopefully there aren't any in the front there because that would be under the power head. So let's see. I do see that we got a couple of screw heads that are accessed from inside there to take this cover off. Well, I might be able to get that screw out. At the angle, I can't get a screwdriver in there and be at a good angle. So I want to come in more from the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and sneak in behind this pipe and get some more torque on it. So I'm going to use my extension bar, my long one, and use an adapter to go to 1/4 inch, and then got this, hopefully this will be a good size tip for that. If not, I think I might have a larger one. Problem is if it cams out it'll start to strip out that head on that screw. So I'm going to try and go real gentle with it and see if I can't get it to break loose. If not, I'm going to try and find my other bit. Well, definitely got a good grip on it, only to have the tip just crack and snap. A lot of these modern tips are made out of this really brittle steel, or some kind of alloy that's junk. Let's see if I could find one of my older ones, which is more like a tool steel. Well, I had to heat that up with the torch and tap on it to get it to break free. And when I got it out, you could see all the corrosion on the threads. That's why it was stuck in there so bad. But I managed to get it out. So far so good. So I think when I took this back cover off, I snapped 1 or 2 of them, and I'm going to have to deal with that when the time comes. But for now, that takes this side of the cover on loose. Now I got to get the one on the other side, which unfortunately, that's buried down below my starter solenoid that I put in. So I'm actually going to take the solenoid out, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it unless I do. So you can barely see it, it's way down. So you can see it right. See, I can actually stick my finger in from here to point to it. Maybe not. Yeah, right here. So you can see my finger right here. Right here. So if that was a cap screw, I could have probably snuck a wrench in right through here and got on it that way. But because it's not, I got to deal with this. Well, this one was stuck too. I was able to move the cable over enough so I could get on there with the screwdriver. It was really tight, so I decided to heat it up and tap on it like I did the other one. And unfortunately, just the act of tapping on it too hard, I actually broke the casting. There's not, ooh, that's still hot. There's not really much. You could see there wasn't much hold in that. That wasn't a very strong thing to be banging on, unfortunately. So that was a mistake on my part. Oh well, what's done is done. I guess the next thing to do is get this, let's see. That's interesting. I guess we gotta pull this straight down, maybe, to get it out of the way. Okay, a little bit of prying and this cover just drops out of the way and exposes all this gross stuff that's stuck in here. Looks like more of the refuse from when I was washing down that mouse infestation problem. What is that? Is that a seal? Yeah, that's a rubber seal. What's left of a rubber seal right there. Huh. Not much left of that. Alright. Well, so far, 1, 2 out of the 6 of these larger bolts coming out without snapping. Alright, my luck held there. I got these 3 loose, these 3 loose, all without snapping them. Now hopefully, these 2 in here are the last 2. And they're much smaller. but they don't look anywhere near as corroded. They look like they're definitely stainless fasteners, so hopefully they are not going to snap. Well, I was able to reach in with an open-end wrench that's got a angle to it to get in there on there, no problem. But boy, I'll tell you, I didn't have to turn that very hard for it to snap. Such a small bolt, so luckily now I should be able to still remove that, and there should be enough left on there so that when I get the housing out I should be able to grab onto it with vice grips hopefully and apply some heat and some penetrant and maybe get that out. Let's see if this one's going to snap too. It actually feels like it turns pretty easily, but it doesn't take much force to snap it. Another thing, sometimes it's a good idea to work it back and forth a little bit as you're taking it out. Sometimes that'll let you cheat and get away with. Oh, there you go, felt it snap right there, that's it. Bummer. Oh, I just had some video of me snapping both of these bolts off, but the stupid video thing was oriented the wrong way, so you guys missed the action. But basically, these, I wasn't even twisting these very hard and they snapped like nothing because they're such small diameter shanks on these bolts. So, but they thread into the case. They're just a through bolt. It's a clearance hole in this top part. So I should be able to still get this off. And then hopefully there'll be just enough meat left on there to grab onto it with vice grips and add some penetrant and some heat to get them out. So I don't think that's going to be a disaster just yet. Well, it's funny, I just took this guard off. Some debris fell out and I'm looking in here and I can see, there's a star washer somebody dropped who knows how long ago. What else we got there? Brass screw. Yeah, what's that? Oh, another little tiny washer. Okay, I've got all the bolts out, I think, and this is still pretty tight. Now, it could just be corrosion that's holding it up there, right? Gotta see if I can get something sharp, like a sharp bladed chisel, and see if I can bang in there. Maybe there's this little ledge right here, even tap on it, see if I can't get it to break free. Then there's also this deal down here, which I'm not exactly sure how this is held in. Looks like I can see a bolt head right there and a bolt head right there, so I think maybe I need to take this cap off and remove those bolts before I go any further. Well, those screws came out nice and easy because they only screw into these little plastic holders to hold the little cover on. Now the question is, what are you going to take off to get this to separate? If I take these two bolts out right here, that's going to separate this piece by the looks of it. But I'm wondering if that piece even stays behind. It almost seems like it's like a shock absorber, the way it works. I can't be sure though. Of course, I don't want to snap any more bolts either. Nearest I can figure, taking this nut off of here is not going to do anything for me. And that I need to take out these two bolts on each side. But I'll tell you, I got this one out, but it was really tight and it's making me nervous. Look at all that corrosion in there. Not good. Well, it looks like my luck has run out. The last bolt out of the 4 that I wanted to get out snapped off. And it snapped off close to the head, so there's enough of it showing that's into this part here. So basically it's going to keep that on there. So now I don't know what to do. I'm going to see if I can get this to separate from here and see if there's any sign of that being able to drop down and twist out of position enough to pull that out. I don't even know. Alright, I banged with a chisel from the top here. It's kind of hard to get the chisel down in there and tap it, but it does look like it's separating a little bit, but I'm kind of marring this up, so I'm going to now use a putty knife. It's actually a 5-in-1 painter's tool, but I'm going to use that because it's got a really sharp blade and see if I can't. It's got a bevel to it, so I might be able to spread that a little more. Alright, this is separating in the back here, but it won't separate it all in the front, which is making me suspect that there is another fastener somewhere that we're missing that's holding this front, which is kind of a scary thought because the way the power head is so forward of this, I can't see anything down in there. And I mean, it would be crazy to think you've got to get the power head all the way out in order to take that off. And yet, I do not see, fasteners from the top here anywhere. So, I'm wondering, would they be, got this bump right in the front here, would they be nuts enough to put a bolt in from down under here all the way up, that you'd have to use like a huge extension bar to get to? Alright, so I just pulled this gasket out of the front here, what's left of a mangled rubber gasket, and cleaned all the gunk and dirt out of there, and I could scrape right here and I could feel there's no screw there. And actually I could see this is the tube for the drive shaft to go through right there. We know that this bolt was holding this corner, and then you get the other one on the other side. So the place for a screw to be, if there was going to be one on this back side, would be right here in this middle part, and there just isn't even room for one. So that can't be what's holding it. So the question is this tube supposed to stay behind when this whole tower comes down? There's no place for there's no room for a bolt up in there either. So that ain't it. I don't know. Thinking I might just try and wedge it a little more.